Oh man, another Black Hebrew Israelites. I feel like I keep talking to them in the manosphere. I'm wondering why they are so deep in the manosphere, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the narcissistic aspect of being a man and how Black Hebrew Israelites might relate to that I am the man, hear me roar nonsense. So I've had a lot of confrontations with Black Hebrew Israelites because first off, it's a Freemason group. It's a group full of witches. I mean, I spent like days going back and forth with these two dudes that had a very strong serpent spirit, and I knew it was the serpent. It was divination and witchcraft being used. So this guy posted video saying black men are leaving black women. I guess for me, I feel like we don't own black men. Black men don't own black women. I think there's benefits to dating within your culture and marrying within your culture. I mean, I really have been praying to God about it. But, you know, I don't know. I feel like, what is the purpose of saying something like that other than you're trying to trigger people? I think you can go, but I also believe that many black people descend from the Israelites. So it's like, if you descend from the Israelites and you don't know your heritage yet, there might be trouble for you in the long run. I personally have learned that I descend from Israel, and I dated white men for a long time. I thought there was something wrong with black men. I had a very bad perception of black men. Probably because I grew up in a single parent household, and because every black man around me just did not display a man that represented God, I guess. And so I had a little thing with that, and I dated a few white men, and I was just like, you know what? I don't think these men are any better. Because the truth of the matter is, we look at the individual, not necessarily at, their race. Because they got people out here thinking that different races are better than others when you should literally be looking at that person. Because I have met amazing white people, amazing black people, amazing Asian people, the whole spectrum under God. So, yeah. So God taught me that little lesson. And then a couple years back, I had a friend that told me that God had a husband for me and that he was going to be Nigerian. And so that was around the time that I was like, oh, okay. I don't really mind. I never thought about dating a black guy. Well, that's a lie. I guess I did date a guy that was like, he was a very fair-skinned black guy. We'll put it that way. I dated a couple of very fair-skinned black guys. But, yeah, never anyone my color and never anyone darker. But I think coming to Christ, it made me realize that I need to not judge people by their appearance, but judge them by their heart. And so I think that the seed of bigotry kind of reduced in me quite a bit. I wasn't as racist towards white people anymore. I wasn't so racist towards black men anymore either. Excuse me. So this gentleman, he's in this video. Black men are leaving black women or whatever. And he's saying he's depressed and that he doesn't have very long. He feels like women don't want to date him. He feels like women don't want to date him because he's like 6'4". And I'm trying to tell him my testimony about how I dated all these white men, and none of them were working, because it's not about not dating black men or only dating certain races. God is much bigger than that. He created every single ethnicity. And so to deny a whole group of people under the guise of preferences is racism. It's bigotry, and that's not the heart of God. And so I was telling him these things, and he's like, oh, I've been in the truth for a while. And as soon as he said that, I was like, he's probably a black Hebrew Israelite, because they always say that. I'm in this truth. You're in a truth. It's not the truth, though. Because he went on talking about, well, I'll date Spanish women because blah, 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 I just won't date black women. I'm like, bro, you can't deny the apple of God's eyes, like the original Israelites, and call yourself a person that's in the truth. You can't do that. Israel is supposed to marry Israel. But some people think, oh, the Spanish people, they're the Israelites as well. I think some Latinos descend from the Israelites only because of that E1B1A haplotype that's only in West Africans and Western Africans, us. Because I know I did my DNA, and that haplotype draws back to Spain. And when I saw the map on it, it gave a picture of the Hebrews, basically saying, these Hebrews descend from Spain. This is their haplotype, the E1B1A. These Hebrews were called the Yaya Negroes. These were black Hebrews. And so what they call Sephardic Jews do not look like those people over in Israel. They look like us. So, yes, if they have that in them, then yeah, they descend from Israel. But if you were to go off just like dating Incas and people from Spain and that kind of thing, it's a chance that they're not Israel, and therefore you be going off dating other nations, and you're going to have an issue with that under God if you're claiming that you're under God. It's right there in Ezra 9. I literally just read it, how the Israelites were going off marrying other nations, and that's why they were having issues. So the problem with that is, if you're not Israel, which, you know, Israel looks like everything. I told him you can marry a white woman that's in the church because she's grafted in. But to sit here and deny a black woman who is Israel, no, you're not going to inherit the kingdom of heaven, period, point blank. There's no such thing as those kinds of preferences to God. That's a worldly mentality. But they try to use the whole preferences thing to justify bigotry. That's all that is. The thing is, when you go off and you marry other nations, you're leaving yourself open to the seed of God being defiled, because they have so many practices and customs that worship other gods that it will start to literally dwindle that seed down in you. That's why he didn't want Israel going off and marrying other nations, because they would fall away from God. That's the same thing that happened with Solomon. So you have to be careful concerning that, and you have to learn to love the daughters of Israel, which are many black women. I would say it's a lot of black women in America. You can't just deny us and think that God is going to accept you. That's not how it works. And that might be part of the reason why you're dealing with depression, is because you are denying his very chosen seed. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. So, interesting times. Don't be unevenly yoked. Ask God to deliver you from that spirit of bigotry or hatred towards black women or black men. If you are a black woman that doesn't want to date black men, you just can't be racist and have the light of God in you. So you guys be blessed and have a good one. Bye.